Hello, everyone, and welcome back to RadioActive Podcast. I am Ian.
And I am Victoria.
We are excited to wish you a very happy Halloween,
Yes.
everybody.
A very spooky Halloween, even though none of us are in a spooky costume. Woo. Whoa! It's so
Whoa.
much brighter without these. Wow. Okay, so just a little heads up for everyone. I'm gonna try my best not to rip this costume because it is very tight. So, we're gonna try that so I can return it. But I'll try not to get too excited while we're telling stories today. So,
So, what are you supposed to be?
I'm an astronaut. NASA.
All right.
Space
All right.
shuttle. See that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just picked this up today and they had a blue one and a white one and I couldn't decide. So I'm like, I'll just go with the white one. It's kind of more like common probably. And I should have got a
Yes.
size bigger because I'm dying right now. So, but we'll try our best not to rip it. We'll get through here. Okay. And you are Morty, right? Or is it Rick?
No. Rick.
Rick's the blue. Okay. Okay. You're Rick. I don't
Rick
have any
Sanchez
props.
from Rick and Morty.
I don't have any props. Just my glasses. I got this came with like a cap too, but I don't like the hat. I subbed it out for aviators. So
There you go.
that's the way we're going today. I might leave them on, I might take them off, I'm not too sure. I think they really complement the costume though.
Yeah. No, they do.
So we'll leave them on for now. But today Ian and I are going to be telling ghost stories. First-hand experiences with ghosts. I mean, I have a few stories. Not all of them are like firsthand, but they're like from people I know. So I got a few.
I got one that's really, it makes me feel stupid. And I think my friend and I at the time were just like, we feel really dumb. So we went to a haunted house in St. Louis. And I say haunted house, I don't mean like it's actually haunted. I mean, it's like an attraction. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
go and you get the pants scared off you by these actors, and then you have a few screams, you have a few yucks, have a few laughs, and then there you go. It's done, right?
Mhm.
So I went with my friend at the time, Kelly, and we're going through and we're like having a blast. We're like, ooh, 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 right? We're having fun, and we're getting towards the end, and there's a single girl, right? Like a single girl, and she looks lost, right? And we're looking around. We're like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, I can't find my friends anywhere. I'm really scared." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you can hang out with us. It's cool. Come on, we'll start walking." So we keep walking and walking and walking, and then out of nowhere, homie in like a clown costume just picks this girl up, lifts her up, and yeets her into a dark like part of the haunted house. And then he comes walking back out without her, and my jaws hit the floor, right? My jaw hit the floor, and I'm looking at my friend Kelly, and she's looking at me like, what the hell just happened? And we're like, dude, where'd that girl? He goes, what girl? And we freaked out. We started like running through, and then we went and told security, we're like, listen, I don't know what's going on here, but this guy just like yeeted this girl and took her away. And we told my friend's mom, we got back to her house, and we're just like, yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like, this guy just picked up this girl and just left. It was scary. And then we stopped, and I stopped, and I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, oh my God, I might just be like actually stupid, right? It's a haunted house. It's a attraction for people to go get scared. Why not incorporate a little story into the mix, right? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And we felt so dumb by the end of the night because we're probably like, oh my God, that's probably exactly what that was. That was staged. Because our friends, so my friend's mom called the freaking police, and reported it. And then she got off the phone, and I'm just like, my head is in my hands, and I'm like, this is probably staged. Why did we call the police? This is stupid.
I mean, you never know though. This is why I don't go to haunted houses.
You've never been?
No, I
You should
haven't.
go.
No, I shouldn't.
Why?
That's not my thing. I don't like to voluntarily be scared. I mean, it depends on like the haunted house. If it's just one of those like stupid like haunted houses, like whatever. Like just with like the more like jump scary stuff, like like the spider that jumps out at you and stuff.
I hate that.
Like those, like whatever. I don't want to be chased by a clown like swinging a knife around. What do I got for ghost stories? So there is a place around where I live, probably about like I think it's probably maybe an hour, if that, from where I am, and it's called the Motherwell Homestead. So it's like a museum, like an outdoor museum place, and it's like a museum of like a homestead, like a farm. So there's like a house where this family used to live, and then there's like barns and just a bunch of stuff like that. I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't remember everything that's there. But if you've ever been to like one of those outdoor museums where it's a bunch of houses and then like a grain elevator or something like that, and it's like haunted, like crazy haunted. And like the workers there even said like they'll put stuff in the houses and it gets moved and they'll hear like random noises coming from certain buildings and stuff. And my grandma, they had went there like that had to have been probably like 6 years ago, and they were taking videos in the house just for like memories, look at the museum, right? And then they were listening back to their videos and there was like growling in the videos, but there wasn't when they were there. But in the videos it's like legit like growling. Bizarre. So
Oh
that
my god.
place just gives me the creeps. Like when you walk into it, you can almost feel like an energy kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you've ever been to like a museum or like any haunted place and you just kind of walk in and you just kind of get a vibe where it's like, I don't know about this.
You get a feeling that like there's something else there with you,
Yeah.
but unbeknownst to you, like there's something in there with you. You get that sensation of why do I feel like I have eyes all over me?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and anytime I go to in Saskatoon, there's a Western Development Museum, and when you walk in, it's like they made like a town. So there's like a few just like homes, and then there's like a dentist office, a doctor's office, a police station, like all these old buildings that they put together. And there's a few of them that when you walk in, it's just kind of like weird, or you walk beside something and it just like you get this weird like vibe and it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude, I'm a firm believer in ghosts. Like, it's funny because it's almost the end of October, and I've been kind of going and doing some spooky shit, but for the most part, I haven't really felt like that creepy atmosphere. But it's definitely one of those things where, no matter what time of year it is, you could do spooky shit in the middle of February, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll still just leave you feeling like uneasy, right? Like it doesn't necessarily have to happen in October. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's just as simple as like going to a museum where they like you have a bunch of old pieces from like the 1930s, right? I think that there can be like spirit energy in those old things, that just kind of like comes out. Um and yeah, I don't know. Some people don't believe in it.
So there is a park about 5 miles away from here. It's called Beech Tree Park. It's in Oakville, Missouri, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's got a lot of history to it. There are a lot of old structures in the grounds of the park. And then there is a golf course in the outskirts of the park. But you can get there by taking trails that are in the park that lead out of the park and into the golf course, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in said golf course, there is a house, and it is a big house. It is freaking huge. Okay. Now, thing you have to keep in mind here is that um, people believe it's haunted,
Mm-hmm.
right? Legend has it that there is a radio, right? There's a radio and it's in the basement and it just plays music and it's different music every night. Nobody knows who left it in there. Nobody knows why. It's just in there, right? Come to find out, uh, we think people might be storing shit down there and we don't really know, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. It's like, it's weird because I've heard so many stories about this house. And then finally, my friends and I went for 2 or 3 nights. I remember the first night very, very fondly. Here's why. We go there the first night and we sneak into the house, right? It's old, it's abandoned, there's shit everywhere. There's like just a bunch of crap all over the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're in there and we're walking around and we go upstairs, we go up another bit floor, and the doors keep shutting behind us and we don't know who's shutting the doors. And we see all of this satanic shit on the wall, all of this like pentagram graffiti, and we're just like, our skin's crawling. It's spooky, it's weird, and I don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So come to find out, I think it was the girl we were with. I think she was the one shutting the doors behind us, and we were like, ah ha ha, you goofy goober, you, right? But yeah, man, I mean, the next time we went, we broke into the basement. The basement was locked. There was like a garage door on the outside and it was padlocked, and we found a way to break the lock. And in doing so, we were able to go in. And Victoria, this place was huge. And I mean, like, it was massive. It was just like a basement underground, and it was just gigantic. Like, I mean, warehouse big. We're walking and there's all this heavy equipment, and finally we see it. We see the radio, and sure enough, it's plugged in, and it's just a regular radio. There's nothing spooky about it or nothing. So that's the moral of the story here. I guess is expect the unexpected, right?
No, no. Moral of the story should be don't go into spooky houses.
Yeah.
Don't go into
Well,
spooky houses.
I can't help myself, man. I love spooky shit. Always have.
I don't know, like I feel like every town or city has like that one place where it's and golf courses. Golf courses always have like a spooky house by them. I feel like because our golf course here has like I want to say I don't know if it's like a barn or a house or what it is, but I remember there were a few people that I knew that like broke into it, and don't ever think I was involved in that because I was not. I'm not going to say who it is, but there's someone in my family that lives in a like a pretty haunted house. Like there's ghosts in that house. It's the house is a old it's right by a church. It was an old what do you call it, like a rectory, I think is what it's called, where like the priests or like nuns would stay. There's definitely some spirit activity that goes on in there.
They lived or they currently
They
live?
currently live. They've lived there for years.
Wait, priests and nuns.
Not the priests and nuns, but like my family members.
Oh, your
They're,
family
yeah.
members live in
So
the
the house
house.
used to be the house for like the priests or nuns or whatever, right? Now it's just a livable house that some of my family members live in. But it's like a haunted house. Like, it's sketchy. I've been there, and like the one night we were staying there, and we heard like footsteps in the middle of the night. No one got up, and like all the bedrooms are upstairs. So it's an old house, so the floor is really squeaky. It creaks and cracks. And we were staying there the one night, and it was in the middle of the night. No one got up, but you heard 3 footsteps and then nothing. Like, we thought someone got up to go to the bathroom, and we were waiting to like hear the creaks down the stairs. It was like 3 steps, and then that was it. So that's
Ooh,
kind of creepy. And then what else has happened there? So they're like kind of renovating this house. They're working on it, and they had like a ladder leaned up against the wall, and the ladder actually moved, like scooted across the wall with no one touching it. Just happened, just scooted right across. And then there was also a broom that they had, and I think they had went to the kitchen, and this broom was standing straight up and down in the middle of the kitchen. Straight up and down. So that house is mildly haunted. I mean, nothing like harmful, just like, oh yeah, there's the ghost again.
brother. So this is a house in your family that used to be like a nunnery and full of
Yeah,
priests?
yeah. So actually, I don't know how many stories I'm actually allowed to tell. I don't even know if I should be telling these. That's why I'm not naming this specific person. But so when they first moved into the house, they were unboxing their stuff, and one of them had looked up because I don't know if one of the dogs was barking or what, but they looked up, and there was like a silhouette of like a priest just standing there. And then by the time they did like a double take to look, he was gone. Like, legit. So they had asked, I think they probably asked like the church or someone that lived there for a while for like one of the like church books with like all like the history of like any priests that were there or whatever. And they were like looking for this priest to see, like, because they remembered what the silhouette looked like, and they could not find him in this book. But
Oof.
he was like wearing like the robe and stuff.
That is spooky, dude.
I
That
hate staying there. I hate staying there. It creeps me out.
I don't blame you. I would too. And I mean, that's one of those things where that makes me think of like a horror movie starting where a group of kids take like a Ouija board or some shit, and then they try and like communicate, and then they let something in, and then it's a mess.
We had added on to our house a few years ago. This has been a house for like years, 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 years. Like, my grandpa, I think, helped build this house. And they say like if you live in an older house and you do renovations, like the former spirits can kind of like be mad about it because you're adjusting their home. So I'm pretty sure when we were like adding on to our house, we had like bundles. I think it was like of insulation. I want to say it was insulation, and we would hear like it would just be sitting in the addition before it was done, and we would hear like like as if you would like smack this thing of insulation. Like, you'd hear like a big thud. Like, no one would be by it. The most bizarre thing. And then the one day, me and my mom were standing in our kitchen, and in their bedroom they have a closet with a shelf, like kind of way up, and we have a bunch of like family pictures. And this is creepy. And these pictures, window wasn't open, nothing. Flat shelf, okay? Flat shelf. Pictures on here. We heard a big so we go into my mom and dad's bedroom, and these pictures are laying on the ground. So my great grandpa, his like obituary was open to like the main page. It was creepy.
Your house. This is
In
your
This
house.
is where I am now. My
Oh
house.
God, dude. And you people want me to come visit you in Canada and stay at your house.
But nothing's happened like since then. But for a while there, like almost like every few days, something was happening. And I'm pretty sure like it was the obituary, like open to the page. And I'm trying to remember if it was like we're trying to connect something to the day it was. because I don't remember if it was like the date he died on like the day that that happened, or if it was like an anniversary, or if it was like, I don't remember what the hell it was. But we were like, that is freaking creepy that that happened, and no windows were open. There's no way that could have fell. And then okay, there's one more thing that happened. This was shortly after one of my family members had passed away. And oh god, this was Ian. You see these LED lights?
Yeah.
I sleep with the lights on because of what I'm about to tell you. I do not sleep in the dark anymore. So shortly after one of my family members passed away, I was sleeping or trying to sleep, and like I would sleep with my door shut, like lights off, pitch black. And but I had like a an extension cord with one of like a it had like a little light on it when you plugged it in. So that's all that would like shine onto my ceiling. And oh god, this is creepy. So I woke up and I'm like flat laying on my back, and I'm looking up at the I kid you not, right here on this ceiling. I look up and I see like if you took half a face and turned it and plastered it on the roof. And I was like, "Oh, like what's that?" Like, and I have posters in my room and stuff, so I'd be used to like shadows. And we don't have AC, so I would have a fan going on in the summertime. And when the fan would like turn, it would blow my posters or pictures or whatever and just kind of make them do like a little fluff movement. So I thought this thing moved. So I'm like looking at it and I'm like, oh, I wonder like what my fan's blowing in my room. And I was looking around, I'm like, it's not that, it's not that. I'm looking at things. And then all of a sudden I see an arm. Arms. These arms like were moving along this way of my roof. And I was like, what the is that? And then all of a sudden, like the face moved. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was too scared to get up. I wanted to get up, but I was too scared to. So I just grabbed like I think it was my asthma inhaler. I took the cap off of it and I put it over this light and I flipped over and covered myself with the blanket. And I just fell asleep. And I was like, ah, YOLO. If I die, I die. Whatever. But it was
So
short.
let me get this straight. You saw something. So like, there's a light on your ceiling, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somehow, it's like a projector, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you sleep, and then you see a face, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you just think, oh, that's normal.
Well, no, because I would see things move like you know what like at night, and especially because I wear glasses. So when I take my glasses off, like things look kind of a different shape than what they are. Like I got used to being able to identify objects without my glasses on. So being that I had a fan running and it was on like swivel, and I had posters and on the wall and my curtains and stuff that would blow as the fan would hit it, right? So I'd be used to like seeing things like moving in the middle of the night because of my fan. So that's what I thought it was at first. But then I was like, man, this looks an awful lot like half a face like on the roof. And then I saw hands. And then I was like, oh, that ain't a poster. And I was like, oh, okay, well, how about I just don't move? And the weird thing is, like, I don't even know like what it was, but it like happened shortly after a family member had passed away. So we were like, oh, maybe it's, so and so, whatever. But nothing ever came of it. But now I sleep with the lights on because that freaked me out. It was
Yeah, I don't
creepy.
blame you, dude. I
Yeah.
don't blame you.
So yeah, that was creepy. So yeah, that'll happen. But yeah. So my house may be mildly haunted.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that I truly believe my house is haunted in some way, shape, or form. I don't sleep with the lights off. I sleep with the lights on in some regard, unless I have a significant other in bed with me, which has not happened in this house in a very long time. About 2 years ago on Halloween night, my parents were out of town, and my ex and I were sleeping here because I was still living here. right? And we're in bed, and we're snuggling, we're holding each other, and throughout the night we just hear my dog pace back and forth over and over again. And then we hear this like thump, this thud, these
Mhm.
creaks, these creeps around the house. And we're just laying in bed looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on
Yeah.
in this house right now?
Mhm.
And we couldn't figure it out. And then the next morning we get up and we look around and we're looking around and we're like, dude, there's nobody in this house but us. What is going on? This is creepy.
It's creepy when it happens because I know, like, we live in an older house, so there's always creaks and cracks and, screws popping when it's cold. But when you hear something and you're like, I really don't know what that was, it's like, it's creepy.
Yeah, dude, oof, it should, you hear it and you think that'll never happen to me, and eventually it does.
I did,
Eventually it
well, and
does.
when like that whole incident happened, I remember like just casually bringing it up at lunchtime. I was like, oh yeah, I think I saw something last night. Because I'm like, you like you said, you hear about it, you don't think that's gonna happen. Like to you, it's kind of like when you hear about it, it's like, oh yeah, aha, like that happened. I'm sure, you know. But then when you actually like see it happen, like that sketched me out.
Okay, I'm gonna mess this up in advance. I know I am. I used to hang out with this guy named Michael, right? He was like one of my first friends ever, like childhood buddy, right?
Mhm.
And his house was right down the street from mine. So we'd hang out, we'd go over to each other's houses, we played video games. There was a damn it. Okay. Okay, two things. So somebody died in that house, to my knowledge, or died in the outskirts but lived there. It's really hazy. I wish he could just like tell it. There was a wall board, right? There was a board that was in a wall, but it was
Mhm.
bare. You could see the board, right? And there was Chris carved in like red ink or something into the board, right?
Mhm.
It was creepy. And we thought for a while that his house was haunted. Then they were renovating the house and they found a like drawing on the wall, and it said, "Hey, lift this piece of wall and you'll find something inside." And nobody ever did it. Nobody ever touched it. So for all they know, there could be drug money, there could be a gun, a
Mhm.
dead body. They don't know, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like weird, dude. I looked at my buddy when we were still hanging out and I was like, like, how come you never sought that out, dude? I would have done it in a heartbeat. And he was like, bro, we wanted to, but my mom wouldn't let us. And I'm like, I love your mom, but forget it, dude. Do it. But
Just do it.
that's
Yeah.
it's late. It's way too late now. They put like a cabinet, a mirror or something over it. So,
Mhm. I mean,
but
what's the
yeah,
harm
dude.
in doing it though? Like, really, like, why not? Just do it.
Right, right. I mean, it's done. You can't really do anything
Yeah.
now, but for a long time in our friend group, that was like the story at Mike's house. Like, if we're talking about ghosts or anything
Mhm.
like that. In addition to the thing in the wall, the thing written into the wall, there were two things written into the wall, right? And then the story of like this guy going to prison or something. I don't recall specifically. Michael would need to like tell me, but his older brother Tommy, right, used to have an imaginary friend, and I forget. I think its name was Chris or something.
Mhm.
But to this day, it kind of makes you wonder, like, is the thing in the wall, this guy who went to prison, this guy who died, the imaginary friend, is it all connected, right?
Yeah.
It's spooky, dude. It's creepy. It's
Mhm.
like it makes you wonder. It's spooky.
I'm just very happy that I've never seen like other than that little incident that happened on my roof, luckily I've never been in a situation where I've like encountered like a legit ghost, you know, like a legit like standing silhouette. Because if I did,
Yeah,
I would
me
I
neither.
would cry, I would bawl, I would literally curl up in a ball and just start crying.
I'd probably go chase it, knowing me. Pretty like ambitious of me to say. I'd probably be a big and like run the other way in hindsight.
If anyone has any ghost stories, we want to hear them. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. It's been really fun. We'll see you next time.